everyone. My name is Justin Anchetta from SF Garnish Music Production, and we're going to go into how do you do the highs. Thank you to the Garnish Music Network for producing this. Every Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have live from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Check your local time to find out when that is, and we have some live free material for you guys. If you guys want to get more into production, join us at our schools, online, and in the studio. We have 8 different locations worldwide. I'm from the San Francisco branch, and we're going to get into Ableton Live here. All the different DAWs that we use include Pro Tools, Logic, and Ableton. We also have FL and GarageBand skills and all that, but what we kind of vouch for are these specific DAWs, Pro Tools, Ableton, and Logic. My personal preference is Ableton, and the reason why is that I believe it goes probably the farthest into having the digital audio workstation be like an instrument. You can create your own instruments within this workstation and software, and it's just an incredible tool. Today, we're going to be talking about how do you do the highs. If you have any questions, please email us at sf@garnishmusicproduction.com. There's also the larger network, which I would love to share with you guys here. Let's see if I can get to that. Boom, there it is. So this is our page. It's sf.garnishmusicproduction, and this is the Garnish Music Network. And there's an online discount for online courses, and you can click on each page here to kind of see what's going on. We're obviously the West Coast Wednesdays. You click on it and it goes to our location, which is the Bay Area, beautiful Golden Gate Bridge. And then it talks about all the different guests we're having in the coming weeks. And this is going to be happening throughout 2021. We're still quarantined here in California as the vaccines get laid out. And we're also going to have a list of all of our previous episodes right here. So check that out when you can, and please join us at our location. We are doing in-person and online courses from the SF site right here. We have the Academy, the producer program, and our short courses. But without further ado, let's get back into our Ableton set and start talking about the highs. So once you have a song, I actually personally start with the beat, okay? And then I actually create the song sometimes from that. But I'm a guitarist and singer mostly, so I obviously won't play the beat first. I'll play the song on the guitar, sing it, and then I'll try and match a beat to it. In this specific case, I'm doing a lot of production starting from the workstation, the digital audio workstation, Ableton, and I love to start with the beat in this case, bring it on the bass, and then see what type of flow comes out over the top of that in regard to melody. So this specific beat was created just last week, and I'll just play you just a brief part of it and then talk about how I'm going to start making the hi-hat kind of dance around on top using the push 2, which I have right here. It is a tool that Ableton specifically uses and creates for Ableton, made by Ableton. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, it is incredible. If you have an MPC or things like that, those also work, but this specifically works with Ableton just right out of the box in a really beautiful way. It has so many features similar to the workstation that you're going to want to learn it, which is going to take some time. That's why we're here to help you. So let's go in here and start by just playing a piece of this. All right. All right, we'll stop with that. All right, so what we're doing here is that was a drum beat that I didn't really know how to create without actually feeling it on the drums. So what I did is I first went to the drum set in the other room and played that beat with the samples that you hear. Let's see, let's go up here to these Afro-Cuban samples right here that I picked out by hand. And I'm not a drummer, you know, so what I did was I played it on the drums and then I digitized it. So I brought the kit in and played it out on the push specifically the same way, and I was able to line up the with quantizing the exact parts that I wanted. What was difficult is the timing of this. I'm counting this in 4/4 right here. So if you listen to how the click goes with the beat, the hi-hat is actually in 6/8. So listen to this. Right, so that created some troubles on the high. I've actually never done this exact thing that I'm doing today live with you guys. So super excited to be able to kind of work out some new things live with you guys on the Garnish Music Network. Remember too, if you guys weren't here in the very beginning, check us out West Coast Wednesdays from 11 to 12 Pacific Standard Time. And there's also 11 to 12 every day at the Garnish Music Network. And what I want to do is create some hi-hat sounds other than just the chick that's going on here. I'm just going to highlight this one part. All right. You can kind of hear that 6/8 feel on top. And so what I want to do is get into a new sound on top, the highs. So I'm going to go in and grab a brand new beat. Often what you do is the upper left-hand corner, you open that up. All of your audio effects, MIDI, instruments are all here listed for you. I've also created favorites. You can have in Ableton Suite 10 or above. You create your favorites up here. It's very easy to kind of stay creative and not get saturated with all the information that comes down here, right? This is a lot of tools that can kind of overwhelm and just you can be sifting for a long time. So create your favorites. I got my drums in this red folder, and I'm just going to go through and play a few and see which one I like. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that right into this track here. Now, what's really cool is it right away loads in with this entire drum rack, and it's already on my push in the way that I want, which is all right there, ready to play. Okay, and it's pretty loud compared to everything else, so I'll bring that down in volume a tad bit. And right here, this is your volume. I'll bring that down by about, I don't know, 5 dB. All right, that's pretty good. All right, so the part about this that's gonna be interesting is that obviously a 4/4 beat like you just heard with this, right? I'm gonna just play this for you. 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty easy to kind of get that hi-hat to feel that roundedness, right? And where the accents are. What we're gonna do, which is really unique, is try and get accents and some dancing hi-hat over the 6/8-4/4 pattern. And it's gonna be a challenge. I already know this, but we got an hour. We're gonna be doing this from 11 to 12 pretty much today. Taking some time on the highs. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get into a different view here. If you guys don't know Ableton, this is session view. You can see all your tracks. What's nice about this is you can see your panning and your volumes really easily. And this is the track we're working on. It's already soloed and engaged to record. When you're in this record mode, it actually engages automatically your push, right? Or whatever MIDI instrument you have. I also have the Akai MPK Mini, super portable. I'll just show you that really quick. So really popular starter tool right here, the MPK Mini. People are asking me all the time which one to start with and bring into class, and this is really portable, fits right in your backpack. If you don't have the funds for the Push 2 yet, I suggest that. All right, so let's get into this. I'm gonna move over here to this microphone so you guys can still hear me while I'm playing the push. And let's see here. So this is the part where we want to hear a specific track. And that is our drums that we've already created. Let's go back into this other view so you guys can see what I'm doing. So let's find a spot that really highlights all of the drums, including the kit that we have, which is probably right here. What I want to do is just create a nice phrasing. I'm going to go Command L, and that loops it. I'm going to take this button right here and click it, and that engages this arrangement view so I can listen to it. And I'm going to just close this out because we've already got our sample that we want. And it's not playing yet because we got to unsolo. There we go. All right, so drums all, that's what we're going for. We just want to hear the drums because we're working on that high. All right, and what I'm going to also do is highlight this right here because it looks like it's not in that same group. I'll have to do that in a bit. So check that out. So that's our hi-hat right there. So if you notice on the push 2, what I did is I pressed the repeat function right here. If you press it again, it just has it as a one hit, right? But what I want to do is press repeat, and it repeats it at the functionality of what this is. It says eighth note triplet right here, which is actually what kind of puts it in the feel of the 6/8 for us. Kind of sounds straight when we're on this triplet. And that's because we're in 6/8. If I go to something up or down, right, that's eighth note, 16th note, 16th note triplet, right? So this is actually one way that you can really get a dancing hi-hat without too much work. If I had to really paint this out, it would take me quite a bit of time. So let's go ahead and play this again, and I'm just going to kind of walk us through. I'll turn this down so I can talk over the top. So here's your master volume on the push. I'll bring that down quite a bit by about 7 dB. It's nice too that it actually shows the volume for you right away. This tool really allows you to stop looking at the computer screen and really have a physical device, and that's one of the best features about it. Adding specific new devices, adding tracks. The devices could be any extra chain of effects, etc. So we wanted to do that eighth note triplet and get the beat going again. And it's not playing just yet because sometimes when you engage the session view, actually all times that we engage the in session view, it actually takes off the ability to play in this view right here. So since I'm in a work mode, this is a great time to be able to just copy this into a scene. And this workflow, I highly recommend, instead of having to like work around limitations of the program, there is no limitations of the program. I got to tell you that. You can literally just take the drums you want, right? Remember, it's right after drums all. You have to remember where that is on the chain, and copy that, Command C, and then I'm going to go in and tab over to drums all and bring that in to a scene. A scene is here for us. I'm going to Command V, and there it is. Let's just go ahead and play that. And right away we have our drums playing on this side. There's a couple of these that aren't in loop mode, so we want to actually turn those on in loop mode so they continue playing. Let's see. The reverse I don't think we need in loop mode. All right, so our main kit now is in loop mode. Okay, we're seeing everything here. If you guys want more room on the screen, there's a lot of little buttons down here that change what you see on session view and arrangement view. So I'm going to go ahead and take a few of these off to kind of open it up a little bit. So this is your ins and outs. I'm not dealing with that. I have everything dialed ahead of time. So taking that off the screen, let's see the solo function. These are all of your sends and sends to your effects. I have 3 reverbs and 3 delays at different timing. That's something I learned from Oz, one of our teachers at the SF branch. And I'll take that off too. And now you can see all these little squares. This is session view in Ableton Live for all of you that just joined. And session view is an incredible writing tool for parts because every new down could be a new part of the song. So right here, you can just name this. I'm going to name this, let's see here. I'll name this verse, right? And you can just go through each part of your song and create little different trinkets. So in this verse, what we're dealing with today is how do we get the hi-hat to dance around? And we have our alley kit right here. If it's too far away, right, here's our kit over here, and then here's the new one I just brought in. I'm going to go ahead and just bring this right over next to the tracks by dragging them over. Now what I had to click on for that is the name of the track right up here. So if you drag from a different location, it's just going to highlight. So really important that you understand where the functionalities of things come from in session view and arrangement view both. When I go back to arrangement view, I'll try and show you a few things at the very end. So let's go ahead and get back into this. Let's play this. All right, so right when I press play on the push, the beat comes out. You know what, I'm gonna actually bring in a camera so you can see the push as well. Let's do that. All right, so you guys can kind of see what's going on all around. There's the push. All right. So here's my push over here. And what I'm going to do is be playing the hi-hat in repeat mode. The repeat function is on. And as you can see, it's playing on that specific channel. Now the mix, it's kind of hot in the mix, but it's nice to hear the instrument that you're trying to play hot for now. And then we'll bring it back in volume. Drop it down a little bit once we start playing. Let's go ahead and play this and mess around with the different functionalities right here of triplet 8th, triplet 16th, and so on. Yeah, so what I just found out there is that it wasn't as hard as I thought to put this 4/4 timing with the 6/8 feel on top. And what made it work out is that all of my triplet, quarter note, 8th note, and 16th note end up being on the appropriate beat. And then when I go to the regular 8th and the regular 16th, it starts feeling like that triplet pattern, which is really crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and record this by making sure that we are engaging the arm function on this highlighted area right here on your track. There it is. All right. So you can click this right here with your mouse, or you can click the record button right over here with your push. Okay? So here we go. If you don't have the push, right, you can do this all within the program. You can even program your keyboard to do these functions, right? Command K allows your keyboard, anything on your keyboard, to be a record enable. And actually, I'll just give you one example of that really quick. When you go to Command K, it actually already shows that I have some functions over here. I'll just delete these so you can kind of see them, what's underneath. I'm just clicking on them and pressing the delete button, or the backspace for now. And the goal of this, so this is stop all. This is stop all of like whatever's playing. So if I go, let's say I want that to be, whenever I press O, this is the play function, play all. That's going to be P. And then up is going to be my bracket to the left, and then down will be my bracket to the right. Okay, so this is a way that you can control session view with your keyboard. Command K takes us out of that. And right away, look at this. Without doing anything with the mouse, you can start moving around up and down using my bracket on my keyboard. I'm going to go to that verse, and then I can press play, which I have it, I think, on P. And right away, it plays the track. Right? Also, the up arrow and down arrow on your keyboard automatically is set to that. So, things to learn with programming music. All right, so here we are. Hi-hat, record, enable. Here we go. I'm going to set a loop of 4 bars by just clicking this upper area right here. And right away, it starts showing me the 4-bar phrase. Okay? And that right there is like the click. I'm going to turn my click on up here by metronome. If that click sounds off to you, it's a little confusing. It is a click in 4/4 over a 6/8 field. A little Afro-Cuban electronic music. Okay. Right, so this top phrase is a little bit too steady for me. So there's a couple different ways to do that. If you take your bracket right here and be like, I liked later on, make your loop, start over here. Notice how right away the push 2 shows me the back bracket. Now I'm going to say, start this from, set here, set that to 1. It brings this to the front, and then I can say double loop. And it has the part that I really like. Now I'm going to change this repeat function to be in the triplet 16th note, to the faster notes. I'm not recording just yet. And as you can see, that comes in right away. Now, there's a few things that can make this less annoying on top. One is just bringing it lower in the mix. But before we do that, I'm going to add a device on this. Okay, it's already highlighted here. I click Add Device. You can do this also manually in Ableton by going in right here and adding your device. I have it right here in Effects. and it's going to be an auto filter. Okay, so I can drag and drop that in. But for all you push people out there, let's go ahead and get a larger view of push so I can show you guys. I press add device. It brings me into my collections, and previews on. I'm going to go into where I know in my effects I have auto filter. And instead of going to a specific one, I'm just going to load the general auto filter, and it should come up with this right here. Now, the hi-hat, it's mostly the high end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting off those frequencies, and I'm going to bring that up a little bit so when I move it, you guys can really start hearing it dance around. And this kind of shows you where, right? And this is also showing up in Ableton as well, right? So as I'm moving this push around, you can see my EQ going from probably about 400 all the way up to, I would say, about 6K, 6 kilohertz. Beyond that, you start not really hearing it. So below 400, you don't hear any change. Pretty much the hi-hat's gone by here. So I'm going to be dancing around right in this location. Okay, just like playing this. So this is where we're playing this as an instrument. All right. I'm noticing I like between 3 and 7K actually. Much more subtle. Record enable. And right there, my hands are up here, and we just automated that. I'm going to take it off of record enable mode, and we have it dancing around. As you can see on the push, you can see it moving around right here. So this is how you automate something. If that didn't just work for you, you want to make sure that when you're in this session view, that this button, let's go over here so you can see it. When you're in session view, which we are in, that this button right here and right here is enabled, okay? This actually shows you, I'll even show you what it says down here. If you click this bottom area, whatever you go over, it tells you what it does. So you go over this right here, and this, when enabled, manual parameter changes can be recorded to session clips and the arrangement. So the record session automation preference determines whether automation will be recorded in all playing clips or only in armed tracks. Note that the automation in session clips is always recorded to the arrangement. Okay, so pretty cool feature here. When you click this and it's enabled and you're in record mode, your automations will be captured. Okay, if you guys want to see the automation, you can go in down here and click on right here. You see a red dot. That means that the automation has engaged. We're going to show automation and go back to the track, and look at that. There's the dancing. This little drop right here, that's actually when I took my hand off of it. It went right into what the previous loop was doing. So what I want to do now is just clean this up a little bit. I'm going to move over here to this microphone and select all, Command A. And when I click on this, I can go simplify envelope. So I actually learned this from Cello Joe, one of our teachers, super helpful guy. Once again, if you guys want to learn lessons in Ableton Live from us or Logic, please check us out at sf.garnishmusicproduction.com. Tons of lessons and resources. We have a 36-hour course, Ableton 101, 201, that will bring all these tools and lock them into existence for you. So we simplified this, and now when we play it, you can kind of hear where it's dropping and how it's dropping. Now this one drops a little bit more than I want, a little bit too quick. So what I can do is change this up. If I press the Alt function, I can actually bend this, right, in really weird ways. So I'm going to bend that a little bit. This is where you kind of get into doing the exact sounds you want with your hi-hat. So this also dropped a little bit lower than I want. I'll bring that up to about 2.5K and listen to that. All right. I like it disappearing, but I don't like it completely dropping away. So I'm just going to bring that out a little bit. And so now we have this dancing around, and the hi-hat on top, we kind of want to have it, have some effects on it beyond just our auto filter. I think what I'll do now is bring in, let's see here, let's just bring in a reverb. I'm going to drop that in to specifically just this hi-hat, just in case we end up using other parts of this kit. Now it brought right in next to the hi-hat sound, and when we play it, definitely making that. I'm going to make sure that our processing input is taking the highs. Right? We want to make sure that our hi-hat reverb is hitting on the highs. The lows don't quite matter. So customizing that over here, it's dancing around. And then once we hear it, actually, why don't we even solo this, right? Take our metronome off. Our decay time, messing around with that a little bit. And I'll bring this back now. Just a little bit. Often my reverbs are like 10%, 12%. This one I'm going to put a little bit higher just because I want to hear it later on for now. And I'm going to take this off solo. And we're playing in our session view. Open this back up so you can kind of see all the tracks that we're playing around with. I call this verse, but honestly, I don't even know which part of the song this is going to be yet. We're in the play around phase of this whole track. Glad you guys are here with us on the Garnish Music Network to see how we're doing it behind the scenes here. If you guys like the music, check out the releases coming up here at Soul Graffiti Studios. Soul Graffiti Productions will be doing it on digital distribution, DistroKid. Okay, so that's sounding decently. Now I'm just going to go in here and go Command C right on this hi-hat sound that I created in this alley kit. And you know what? I know that I'm just doing hi-hat here, so I'm going to go rename, Command R, and I'm going to say hi-hat. And I'm going to call this dance because it's definitely dancing around. And you know what? My caps lock is on. And so this is something that I really love, is that only use caps lock if it is a group channel, such as like drums all. See this right here? All in capital. So this isn't a group, so I'm just going to have this lowercase, hi-hat, dance. And you can also change the color of it to whatever you want. Normally orange and red means I'm dropping the track, so let's do something different. Something that'll stand out. Okay, this purple one right here. Okay, I'll make that purple too, violet, whatever color that is. Go ahead and copy, Command C, and I'm gonna press Tab, and it opens up my other view, which is Arrangement View. To listen to Arrangement View, you click this button right over here to disengage the session view and engage Arrangement View. And here's the start of the song. Now notice, this is where the drums come in right here. Okay, this is my main drum kit that I created. Let's go ahead and just play this for a second. Okay, it's on loop. So what I want to do is make a little marker right here, which is I already did this. So I pressed this button, which is normally set, or you press here right now, it says delete, because that will delete it. But you press it again and it will set it. Okay, and you can also name it when you click on it, Command R, and you say drum in, drum set in. So this is where you can kind of start organizing, you know, how the song's going. This is great for a vocalist or instrumentalist that's playing over the top to know when the energy is coming up or down. You can have it set here and they're watching arrangement view, and they can even do like a break into, you know, bringing that energy that you want. So let's go ahead and just listen to this for a sec, and then we'll add in our hi-hat, which I already still have in that command copy from the session view. All right, okay, it's still in that loop. So I'm gonna go down to my purple hi-hat dance, which is actually right here. It's great. I'm gonna press R, which is returns. I'm gonna take them away, right? Cleans it up a little bit. You can even, you know, take away this view right here, right? To make it nice and big and clean so you can see your whole arrangement. So this is another way to see when the changes are happening, right? Is to see when these tracks are coming in. This is like a whole break on the drum set, the live drum set. Anyway, I literally just click here on the part drum set in, and I go Command V, and it copied in. So just to do that again so you guys can see, I was in session view, and I went to my hi-hat dance we just worked on, Command C, copied it, or just right click and copy, whichever way you want to do it. Tab over, and then you plop it right into the hi-hat dance, same track. Make sure it's on the same track. And it's actually a pretty long phrase. What I'm going to do is just go Command D and duplicate this all the way across, and then I'll eventually take it out in the locations that I don't want it. Okay, so it looks like we have a pretty long track so far. All right. So that's where the loop ends. It says end loop, but probably end song. Like I said, this is a very beginning phase. I think I've only spent about 2 hours on this track so far, which actually quite a bit was done in the first 2 hours. A little bit slower today because I'm trying to walk you guys through this, which is how to get your hi-hat dance in. For anyone that just joined us, we just put in the auto filter, and we can actually see by pressing A in arrangement view. Sorry, yeah, arrangement view. And you click on the one that has the dot over here, and look at that. This is the dancing hi-hat, which is what's making it dance. Is we're taking out and in and out some of the high frequencies, right? And it's giving this effect. I'm just going to play just this for a second so you guys can hear it again. As you can see right here, it's dancing around a little bit on top. We have a triplet 8th note and triplet 16th note that we played with our push, which is right over here. And we engaged it with a repeat function. Okay, so something to consider. Now we're going to go ahead and press A again to take off all of our effects, right, and our automations to be shown. And the reason why you want to do this is when you have automation on, it completely works as a different beast, right? Arrangement view. If I say Command copy right now with this, it would literally copy these effects to any other channel. Command paste, and all of a sudden I'm copying the effects, right? But what I actually want to do often is take it off of that view, and the A probably stands for arrangement view. Actually, automation, that's what it probably stands for, right? Because it shows the automation when you click it, and then it takes it away. If I say here, Command copy, it will actually copy the actual MIDI track to wherever you place it. Now, we don't want to put that on our kick because that will be busy. So let's go ahead and listen to this now. Taking off solo, which is this button right here. This is engaging everything, and we're going to listen to the transition into where the drums come in now. This is when we're going to start mixing in that hi-hat, which we've done some effects to. Just to go through, we put the auto filter and the reverb at about 31%. And let's see what it sounds like. right there, I would take out, right? Because that's where the break is. I can even see where some of the breaks are up here. I can just take that out right away. It's pretty hot in the mix still, so it's a little annoying. And actually that dry wet reverb, I'll take that down a little too much. You go Command-Shift F, and it will follow the playhead. Nice function. The plus function will zoom in and do a lot of more detail. I noticed right here, this could actually be out the entire time, right? Instead of doing completely taking it out, you could actually press 0 and just deactivate the clip if you're still trying things out, just so it's there in the background kind of, if you want to use it later. All right, so from here, there's a lot of looping going on. There's not really any lead instrument just yet, but actually, I already put some guitar in. That is turned off. This electric guitar, this is going through a Mesa Boogie Mark II. One of my dream guitar amps just came up this way, and I was able to lay this down a little bit. So this is where I was able to copy and paste. As you can see, it's kind of the same kind of break happening over and over again. And I expanded it out so that I could jam over the top of it, and then later on, I can pick out the best parts. I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of the guitar over the top. All right, so this hi-hat dance to me is actually pretty annoying still, and that's totally okay. We're just going to bring that back a bunch. I would say even back down to like between 10 and 12, negative 10 or 12 dB. And that's a pretty big drop. Working with Oz, one of our teachers at SF Garnish, I feel like he's one of my teachers, amazing fellow. He has his own mixing and mastering company called High Velocity, Grammy Award winning producer. He was telling me that 1 to 3 dB is really all the changes that he tries to do most often. With mixes and even like EQ drops, really subtle changes. So for all you guys that do these large movements, just be aware it can do some too drastic changes for your mix. We got 15 more minutes here. Let's listen to this. I'm noticing that this right here on the hi-hat, it might be bringing too much out, the resonance. So I'm actually going to back that out a little bit. That is another way to drop the volume, but specifically with that effect. Yeah, more of a subtle change there. So I do a lot of different little markers up here, right? This is like where I wanted to bring in like a vocalist or a melody. So I made a mark of that, drums in, which you guys just saw us put that marker here. And then just a while ago, I said, this is like a short little clip, good for, you know, promotion or something. Cause like I said, we teach Ableton production. And so this is like, I think part of the riff of the guitar I liked here. So once again, just use your little markers here, your set markers. You can always delete them, but it's really helpful to kind of mark off when things start and stop, or a loop that you like or don't like. Right here, check this out, down to body sounds, right? So it's an idea I had, haven't implemented it yet. So that's gonna be something in the near future. If you guys want to follow along too with more of this specific production, check us out on our West Coast Wednesdays, okay? I'm going to give you just a little more information on this. West Coast Wednesdays, 11 to 12 p.m. every Wednesday, Pacific Standard Time. And the Garnish Music Network, Garnish Music Central, is going live from London, New York, Nashville, San Francisco, all of our different locations. So please check it out every day, 11 to 12, and some really cool producers out there. But if you want to follow this one, I'll be doing this every Wednesday. Next week, we're going to be talking about the lows. How do you get the lows to feel good and sound good? All right, so let's go ahead and drop into this part here that I'm not really sure what's going to sound like, but I marked it. Let's see what happens. Nice. All right, so this area right here, it was the guitar that I was kind of just liking how it was sounding to me. And I just noticed too that it's a little bit behind the beat. Okay, and this is something you can do with your high end or any instrument. I'm going to go ahead and cut that by Command E, right? Making sure that I'm not in this automation view, right? Taking that off by pressing A. And so there's a lot of ways to do this trick here, but I'm going to go ahead and just cut this exact section. And let's just try to see how it sounds when I quantize it. I come up here. You can do this with your push by pressing this button here, or you can also do it with your keyboard, which is Command-Shift-U. And it brings up this Command-Shift-U. All right, that's not coming. But you can also right-click it and quantize it in this list here, finding quantize. What I'm going to do is press the quantize button on the push. And notice how it actually quantized it back. And I actually want that on the down. So I'm going to go Command-Z. And so quantize didn't work for me. What I'm going to do now is slide this over. And I don't want to do it to grid, which it currently is moving it exactly to grid. So I go Command-4. And I'm just going to line up that down right there to the downbeat. And just see if that is the feel. Notice how there's another marker right here of the guitar that's right on the other downbeat. So that's a good sign. It means that the guitar's played it in rhythm. So let's go ahead and just see how that sounds. I'm going to make that little chick in the right before it come in. So some of these are ahead, some of them are behind. Let's go ahead and put that back into this mode, and I'm going to slide that over just a tad bit, kind of find that middle ground, and zoom out. And let's see if the quantize picks it up, because I moved it manually a little closer. So what it does is the quantize moves it to grid. So wherever the beat is. All right, let's find out. And it moved it back again. All right, so there's also functionalities of quantize that can really change things up for you. One of them is the ability to change your quantize. By holding down quantize right here, you can quantize to different notes, right? So actually, let's try and quantize to the triplet eighth, because this is that swing. It's more of a 6/8 feel. We like that triplet eighth. And then also how much swing you have. I found out that there's a lot of really cool hip hop beats around that 10 to 20% swing amount. We're not going to deal with that right now because we're fighting with this 6/8 over 4/4 feel. All right, so what we just did right here is change our quantize on the push. You can also do this with inside the program too. Okay, let's make sure this is right. Quantize triplet, it's still there. And going back to this view so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I want to bring this as close as possible to the down, and let's try that again. Quantize. And it brought it back again. All right. So if that happens, don't worry about it. There's ways that you can actually manually do things. And sometimes the human effect and the human eye is better than what the digital can do. So this is where I'm doing my crossfade. That's all in tempo. Now it's getting ahead right there, just a little bit ahead. So that's where I want to go back and let's find out where that is happening. That's probably good view. Let's find out if that actually. All right. All right, so this is where you can kind of get into the details. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it's a little bit too much, but you can start really dealing with the intricacies of the music. And bringing this to the location that we want. Boom. And obviously you can kind of hear sometimes when that happens there. So this is just an idea of how you can kind of customize sections of your drums, your melody. And if you ever don't like your work, you can always just check this out. You can just go runk, and that original is right in that same time. So if I'm working on a spot and I'm liking what I'm doing or I'm not liking what I'm doing, I sometimes make it a different color so that when I zoom out, I can really say like, that's that part I was wanting to work on, or if it's bad, I'll change it to red and I'll know that I want to dub in a really solid guitar part there, maybe even with like what I did, but just more in time. Okay, so a lot of details on how to customize your track. If you have any questions, please contact us. Thank you to the Garnish Music Network for inviting the San Francisco branch to do some Ableton, talking about the highs. Next week, we'll be talking about the lows. The lows and the highs together make that dancing vibe and feel. And we have some guests coming up. We have Moldover, an amazing instrumentalist, singer-songwriter that actually creates his own MIDI instruments. And he'll be our guest in about a month or so. And we also have Nate Hendricks coming up. These are all teachers at the SF branch of Garnish Music Production. This network is worldwide. So if you join our Academy or producer program, you have access to this world network. We have a Slack channel, Discord, and a bunch of social media. You can stay in touch with other students and teachers, start collaborating, and bring your music to the next level. So once again, if you guys want to be in touch with us, please contact us at sf@garnishmusicproduction.com. There's online lessons and in-person lessons. If you're not in the Bay Area, you can go to our LA branch, the Nashville branch, the New York branch, the London branch, Tokyo branch, right? There's spots all over the world, even Germany. Did I miss any? If I did miss any, please go to, I might as well just show you guys this one more time because we're about out here, and I'll play the track for you at the very end so you can kind of see what work we did. Please go to our websites. So this is the sf.Garnish Music Production branch. This West Coast Wednesdays you can find on our websites, and this is the edu.garnishmusicproduction.com, the central location, and there's an online course discount. Please put a little note that you liked this specific demo. Give a good word or shout out to me, Justin Anchetta of the San Francisco Garnish Music, and tune in. Every day we have different classes, free courses going on. This is the lineup from the schedule coming up really soon. So next week, February 17th, Where's the Lows? And February 24th, Wobble Bass. How do you get that bass to wobble? Wobble guitar and synth. You can wobble anything. And some of that I actually kind of showed today is using frequency to do some of that. We have Nate Hendricks coming in March, mid-March, and then Moldover later on. And he's great with sound design and customizations because I said before, he is customizing his own MIDI instruments all the time. We're also doing a lot of things with Clifex Pro, and you can really take your music production to the next level just by spending time with it and also inquiring with us and the internet. There's a lot of resources out there. If you join one of our Producer Academy programs, we really point you in the right direction so you can save a lot of hours. I'm somebody that didn't go through the program initially, but knowing the curriculum, it would have probably saved me 6,000 hours. I've already done my good 10,000 hours of time with the different digital audio workstations, Logic Pro Tools, and Ableton, which is my main feature these days. And yeah, so if you want to save time and learn in a really succinct way, contact us. There's a lot of great teachers out there with a lot of good credentials. We just had some Grammy Award-winning producers on the channel just recently. Really sweet to see people from different locations of the world joining. All right, so this is the beginning of the track for all you people that just joined. What we did today is we talked about the highs a little bit and how to move with the EQ and some filters to have a dance around. I just brought it back in the mix. It's this violet track that we colored hi-hat dance and named. And we brought it to like negative 11.6 dB. So it's kind of more in the background now. And it comes in when the main drum kit comes in. And it also comes out for all the breaks. We haven't spent too much time with customizing this. This is something that I'll probably do a little bit on off the camera. And then hopefully you guys can listen to it as we progress through our Wednesdays, 11 to 12, West Coast Wednesdays. And then also when we release this eventually in 2021 at some point. So here's the beginning of the track, and we'll be out with this. Please stay tuned for more 11 to 12 Pacific Standard Time from Garnish Music Network. Here we go. Just listening to the background for now, no lead. Here's the filter that we customized. Let's watch that a little bit. We're gonna zoom in, plus button, and Command F to follow along. Deactivated the clip here. We can also just cut out all of that, right? Which is the extra automations that we aren't using. All right, bringing the volume down. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the West Coast Wednesdays. My name's Justin Anchetta, and we're gonna sign off for our 11 to 12 every Wednesday Please check out the Garnish Music Network and sign up for all of our social media. It's in the links below. And sign up for some courses wherever you are. However much time you have, we have courses that are designed for your schedule. 3 hours a week or even more. People go up to 20 plus hours a week through our Academy program. We look forward to meeting you. Contact us, and we'll see you again in the near future. Take care.